Do you really need to go to college to buy real estate?
We're here to say absolutely not. So save your money and more importantly, save your time.
We're the Investor Couple. I'm Mel.
And I'm Dave.
And we're the Investor Couple. On this channel, we teach regular people just like you the secrets to time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom through real estate investing.
We post at least 2 videos a week and go live, so make sure to subscribe and more importantly, hit the bell to get notified when we go live.
Full transparency, Dave and I, we did both go to college.
Now that was almost in a past life. That was for our initial careers and jobs. However, coming to you as a real estate investor, mentor, coach, you don't need college to be a real estate investor or an entrepreneur.
And make sure to stick around because we're going to be covering what you can do alternatively instead of going to college. Depending on what type of career you want, you may have to go to college and university, and that's completely fine. It's not a bad thing. If you want to be a doctor, yes, absolutely, you'll need to go to university.
We're specifically talking about being a real estate investor or entrepreneur. You don't have to go to college or university for that.
And you also don't need to be an agent. I get asked this question all the time. Dave and I, we're not real estate agents, we are real estate investors. Let's start off by talking about tuition and how perhaps you could put that money to work differently for you.
Let's do a couple of examples. Now, we'll do a Canadian one and we'll do an American one. So the Canadian one, let's say on average, it's going to be somewhere $20,000 with tuition and books. That's a lot of money. Now let's say a US based school, let's say it's a big school, it could be somewhere between, I've heard of $60,000 up to $100,000 a year. So with that premise of somewhere between, let's say, $20,000 and $100,000 a year, that's a lot of money spent on tuition, books, rooming, right? You're going to live in residence probably your first year. They're going to have a meal plan. You're going to spend a lot of money on those pre-made meals, the cafeteria. So that's a lot of capital that's going to the school. And are you necessarily getting your money's worth?
Now think about that. That's a lot of money that you could be using to help build your portfolio, to put towards lawyer fees or deposit, or if a tenant doesn't pay rent or renovations or all those types of things. Now I have a 3-year diploma and a 4-year degree in business as well. Now looking back at those 7 years, that's a lot of money, but that's a lot of my time as well. I wish that I would just fast forwarded my growth by taking laser focused courses instead, or dealing with a mentor who has already created that pathway for me.
Yeah, that's a lot of time, 7 years. And when you put in comparison, okay, 7 years in school at X amount of dollars per year, you'll never get that back, right? You're going to get some value out of it, but did the entire 7 years really help you business-wise, real estate investor-wise, entrepreneur-wise? Probably not. I agree with you,
and let's
Mel.
put time into perspective here. Last year in 2020, we purchased 119 apartments, right? That's a lot of units that I purchased in 1 year. Imagine if I would have done that over 7 years.
So now that we've talked about Mel's 7 years in post-secondary, let's talk about someone who's like me, a D student. Again, even thinking of spending 7 years in post-secondary makes me cringe. I could not do it. My 9-month college certificate was long enough for me. So if you're like me out there and school just isn't for you, just know that that is also fine, right? Mel was the A student. She's successful now in business. I was the D student. I'm now successful in business and real estate investing. So if you're out there, just know that you can still obviously accomplish what you want in real estate investing, in entrepreneurship, without the big letters behind your name, without the certificates, the diplomas, anything else that you could get at college or university.
Now let's be clear here. Dave is not saying go in blindly. You should have knowledge, you should have education, but it doesn't necessarily have to come from the school system.
We've discussed why you don't necessarily absolutely need to go to post-secondary school. What is the alternative? Well, we have a couple of suggestions that I wish I could have told younger Dave to do this as opposed to going to post-secondary.
First off, find a mentor. Now there's 2 different ways that you can do this. Either you give somebody a lot of value so they can mentor you. Don't just ask somebody to do it for free, because guess what? They're successful. They're not just going to train you for $0 and no value added.
Think about it. If they are actually successful in their field, they probably get a lot of requests from people who want their help for free. I know Mel and I, we get messages all the time from people asking, can you hop on a call with me? Can you help me? What should I do? And we get hundreds of messages all the time. The ones that truly stand out are the people that provide value to us. They'll say, how can I help you? Can I come into your office? Can I volunteer with you? Can I give you my time? Can I help you on a project? Let's say they have a skill. They'll barter. They'll say, can I help you with such and such a skill in order for you to help me with my real estate investing? These are the type of people that get our attention. And I'm not saying it's just us. So if you're going to someone who is successful in their field, again, don't ask what they can do for you. Offer something that you can do for them, provide them value, show them how good you are, show them your worth, and then eventually, once they get to know you and they like you and trust you, and they can't live without you anymore, now they might actually start paying you for your service.
So what Dave is saying here is there's different ways that you can do this. Maybe you are an intern for them, where you're giving them value, and maybe they're actually going to end up hiring you to be part of the team. Or they may decide that, you know what, you're giving me enough value, I'm going to give you some value back and show you how to do what I'm doing.
And if you really think about it, what are you doing when you're in college? You're going to school during the day, somewhere you've paid to be. You're not getting paid to be there. And then at night, you're doing your homework. You might have picked up another job to pay for rent. So if you look at what Mel just said, the internship, you're kind of doing the same thing. You're going somewhere during the day. You did not pay to be there, but you're volunteering, you're learning on the job from people who are actively doing it. And let's say if you're not making a wage from it yet because it's an internship, you're going out and getting a job at night just like you would have in school, but now you're gaining that real life, real time information from someone who's doing it and someone who might actually end up hiring you or mentoring you.
Always think, how can you bring them value? For example, Dave and I, we are growing our TikTok. Now, we're not experts in TikTok, but if somebody that has a huge following that knows TikTok in and out comes to us and say, hey, I'm going to show you how to explode your channel. In return, I want you to train me on real estate investing. This is a win-win. It's not one-sided. Alternatively, if you don't want to substitute your time, or you don't feel that you have something very unique to offer the mentor, you can absolutely pay them for their time. That's what the majority of people do. They pay for a mentorship, expedite their growth, reduce the amount of mistakes so they can achieve success.
As of today, Mel and I have spent well over $120,000 in mentorship. I wish I spent even more money sooner because I would have expedited our growth even quicker and we'd be even more further along in our real estate investing journey than we are today.
And we have so many success stories. For example, Francois joined our program and within 9 months, he was able to quit his full-time job. Other people purchased 4 properties in 5 months, 3 properties in 6 months, and I can go on and on about all this.
Remember earlier we talked about saving time. His goal was to quit his job in 5 years, and he did it in 9 months.
Think about the value of time, return on time and return on investment.
Another reason to maybe skip the entire college and university route is typically when people graduate from post-secondary, then they have to go out in the workforce and start getting experience before they can actually get into the field that they went to school for. Our suggestion is just completely skip it and start off in the field that you want to be in. So in our case, it's real estate investing.
Why don't you start off working for a real estate investor? Perhaps you work in property management. Ask them, hey, do you need help managing your properties? Think of the win-win there. You're going to help them out because you can help manage their properties while you're learning, you're growing, you're expanding.
And speaking of expanding, I want to expand on Mel's idea. What if you work at a real estate brokerage, right? Where you're dealing with listings, you're dealing with offers, you get to know the lingo, you get to know the realtors. What if you work at a mortgage broker, at a bank? You get to understand financing, you get to understand applications. This is real life knowledge that you can gain without having to go to college or university.
So what are your thoughts? Comment below. Did you go to college or university? Did you find it helpful to grow as a real estate investor, or could you have gone without it?
Are you just at the point where you're thinking about going to school and kind of on the fence? I'm curious to see what point you liked the most and what point really resonated the most with your situation.
And if you want some more content about buying real estate using none of your own money, you're thinking this is your career path, then check out the link below, 3secretstrategies.com. It's a free link, it's a free masterclass where we show you how to buy properties using none of your own money. We also have tons of other YouTube videos, so make sure to watch this next one. I'm Mel.
I'm Dave.
And we'll see you there.